All right, let's get into it. Today, we're looking at a fantastic old fable about a guy who was just desperate to find a shortcut to getting rich. It's a story about obsession, a really strange quest, and a lesson that was hiding in plain sight the whole time. So, let's start with this question. Just imagine for a second, what if there was a real deal magic potion that could make you rich? One drop, and bam, anything you own turns to solid gold. I mean, it's a pretty tempting idea, isn't it? Well, the man in our story believed in this so much that he pretty much dedicated his entire life to finding that potion. But, as we're about to find out, the secret to wealth he stumbled upon was something way more real, and honestly, a lot more powerful than any magic could ever be. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. We need to get to know our main character and this unshakable belief he had that a magic shortcut was the only way to get ahead in life. It's a really good question, right? Who was this guy? I mean, what kind of person bets their whole life on a get-rich-quick scheme? Let's dig into who he was and what this, quote, funny idea of his was all about. So, meet Rama Natha. And get this, he wasn't starting from zero. He inherited a ton of land from his dad, a real fortune. But did he use it? Nope. He completely ignored it. Why? Because he was totally obsessed with this one single idea, finding a magic potion to turn stuff into gold. And he threw every last bit of his time and money at this search. And you have to understand, this wasn't just some harmless little hobby. His wife, Madhumati, was watching their entire inheritance just vanish. She was seriously worried his obsession was going to leave them with absolutely nothing. This search for imaginary gold was costing them their very real security. So just when things are looking pretty grim, the story takes a hard turn. A wise sage shows up, and he actually offers Rama Natha a path to his potion. But let's just say it's a very, very strange one. This is it. This is the moment that changes everything. Rama Natha hears that this famous sage, Mahapati, is in town, and he thinks, this is my chance. So what happens when a man obsessed with shortcuts finally meets a man who knows the long path to true wisdom? So the sage says, yep, I know the secret, but you gotta see these instructions he gives him. First, plant a banana plant. Water it yourself. Then you have to collect the morning dew from the leaves until you have 5 liters of it. Only then will the sage give you the magic words. This is no quick fix. And Rama Natha, he does the math in his head pretty quick. 5 liters of dew, drop by tiny drop. He realizes this is going to take me years. He wanted a shortcut, and the sage just gave him the longest, most tedious job you could possibly imagine. And this, right here, is the heart of the story. The sage gave him a little tip. He said he could plant as many banana plants as he wanted to speed things up. And what came next wasn't some flash of magic. It was just a long, long period of pure hard work. So this is the real test, isn't it? Did he actually do it? After all these years of ignoring his own land to chase a fantasy, would he finally commit to this slow, grueling process? I mean, everything hangs on this decision. Oh, you better believe he did, for 6 whole years. And to get that dew faster, he just kept planting more and more banana plants. He slowly turned his empty, useless fields into this huge plantation. For 6 years, he worked that land with his own hands. And this comparison just says it all. They went from this family, totally stressed and worried about their future, to this, a massive, thriving plantation. The very land he'd ignored for so long was now bursting with life, all because he was chasing this magic dew. Now, here's a super important detail. He wasn't doing this alone. This whole thing became a partnership. While Rama Natha was focused on his long-term goal of collecting dew, his wife Madhumati was dealing with the immediate result, which was a whole lot of bananas. So she started taking him to the market and realized, hey, people will pay good money for these. Okay, and that brings us to the big moment. After 6 long years, Rama Natha finally has his 5 liters of dew. He's done everything the sage told him to do. The moment of truth that he's been waiting for his entire life is finally here. This is really the only question that matters now. He did the work. He waited 6 years. He brought the bottle of dew back to the sage. So after all of that, did the magic happen? And the answer is just no, flat out. The sage mumbled some words, Rama Natha sprinkled the dew on a copper vessel, and absolutely nothing happened. The vessel was still just a vessel, still copper. And Rama Natha was furious. I mean, you can't really blame him, right? From his point of view, he'd been completely scammed. He felt like he just threw away 6 precious years of his life on a total lie. But wait, this is where the sage pulls back the curtain and reveals the real lesson. What felt like a trick was actually the most profound teaching. And the gold Rama Natha was looking for? Well, it was right there in front of him the whole time. So that's the final piece of the puzzle, right? If the potion was fake and the dew is worthless, then where did they get all this new wealth? Where did the actual real gold come from? The sage calls Madhu Mati over, and she brings out this big box, and it is just filled with gold coins. And he explains it all. There is no magic potion. The golds came from their hard work. While Rama Natha was busy growing the trees, his wife was busy selling the bananas. That was the real source of the gold. And that's the whole point of the story, laid out perfectly. The trick was the belief in a shortcut, but the truth was that consistent, hard work is the thing that actually turns effort into wealth. The sage knew Rama Natha would never just listen to advice to work hard, so he created this elaborate trick to teach him a lesson he would never, ever forget. So we'll end on this thought. This story is just a powerful reminder that so many of us are looking for our own bottle of dew, that one magic solution that'll fix everything. But the real magic is almost always found in the work we're trying to avoid. So what's the magic you've been waiting for that a little bit of steady effort could start building for you right now? Something to think about.
Thanks for watching.